Today's episode is brought to you by DNA Sports Training. If you or someone you know wants to take their game to the next level, then hit up DNA Sports Training. Visit DNASportsDenver.com to book a training session. We offer specialized sports training from football to track and fields and everything else in between. Whether you're an offensive or defensive lineman wanting to get better off the ball, or you're an athlete wanting to improve your speed and agility, we have something for you over at DNA. Visit DNASportsDenver.com right now and sign up. Man, oh man, we're back.
Wow.
Took a little hiatus.
Slow vacation.
But
little time off.
Sometimes you got to do that in order to come back, right?
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
Feels good.
It feels like a long time no see, but I see you all the time still.
See you all the time. It's been a long time. Other time, I call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing other stuff, and
we're back.
As long as like some of that stuff takes to do, like the season and things like that, and to go through and finish that, it also happens so quickly too.
It
and
does.
Here it is, freaking, November. Happy Veterans Day. Mm-hmm. Shout out to all those who served and all those currently serving veterans across the country and across the world, stationed wherever you are. We appreciate your service and your sacrifice for this country and for people like us to be able to do stuff like this and to be able to coach football and be able to coach basketball and track and everything that we do. So shout out to all the folks that have served or are serving. We appreciate your sacrifice for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. We can't go on with this episode without definitely touching on that and giving our thanks to everybody who has done what they have to do for us to do this.
I figure, man, it's nowadays it sometimes can be controversial. Yeah. And but when it comes to that, bro, that sacrifice, there's no controversy to it, man. Like them folks sacrifice for us to have controversy about whether or not it could be controversial. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
That sacrifice is part of the payment for that, man. And so, if we were to not be appreciative of that, man, it'd be wrong of us. So I just got to make sure I give that shout out to start things, bro. But what's up, dude?
We're back, bro.
God damn,
we're back. It's been a minute, but it's been a great little hiatus, honestly. Like, I missed this. I missed this connection, this conversation, but we've been having it off camera a little bit because, again, we've been going through it, right?
Yeah, man. But shout out to you for putting through with the Wolfpack this year, the whole org. I didn't mean to cut you off. I know you was going, but
no, I was actually going to get into that. It's been, it was a great journey. Starting an organization is unreal. The stress that comes with it, and sometimes, especially when it's unplanned, it comes even harder to deal with, but, some people either shy away from it and some people step up to the plate, and we've had great people to step up to the plate in order for this to happen. And, it wasn't just one person or one man or two mans or a couple people. And it was a whole team, bro, the families, the kids that played, and,
that's right.
And all the coaches that went in and played and coached these kids and taught them the game. It was a successful season. We had all three of our teams make the playoffs, two of which championship games. Shout out to our youngins. They made one of those championship games. Yeah. And then our older 7th and 8th grade team, shout out to Coach Martinez and his staff, man. They do an amazing job.
Big shout out, fellas.
And they won the silver no-co championship. And they deserve it so much. Those kids went through so much adversity last year. We talked about it on this pod before, where their season got stripped from them last year, and they didn't have the support of their board and the backing of their board to fight that battle with them. And I made the commitment to that coach and that team last year when that happened that I was going to stand by him through thick and thin. And that was one of my goals this year. And I made sure to do that. Whenever they had a need, I wanted to be there for them. And, same vice versa. Art was there for me and my needs, and he stepped up to the plate and took on this journey with me. So shout out to him, because without him and his passion for that team and us coming together, we wouldn't have been able to give those boys another great year to kind of, go into NOCO and compete with some older kids too and win.
Yeah, big shout out to Art and his squad, man, and his coaching staff, dude. That's great accomplishment for a first-year organization to have that sort of representation throughout the league and to make the playoffs. Our guys, we fell a little short from the ultimate goal, but we were also, we weren't happy with just being there, but we were definitely proud to be there based off of all the hard work these boys put in. A lot of new kids, and for first-year representation of that organization, bro. Give you big ups for all the work that you do behind the scenes that sometimes like we don't see it us as coaches, parents. They don't get to see all that hard work that goes in behind the scenes as in running an organization, even just being a youth football organization. Like some can think it's not much, but there's a lot of behind the scenes work to go through. And I know sometimes it got frustrating, dude, but I got to give you your flowers, dude, because you stuck through it. And like you said, you wanted to see it through. You had an obligation to other teams and other coaches to see it through. And I just give you props, bro. I appreciate you. All the work that you put in to make that happen.
Appreciate it, brother. But sometimes, I appreciate the thanks, but it's not really needed sometimes because you get rewarded in seeing the happiness of others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And to see the growth of others. And you said it, we weren't happy with losing the championship. And I think if we play that game back, it's going to be a different result. I don't know if we win the game, but I know it would be a different outcome of how that game went.
Yeah.
But I'm extremely proud with the way our team, not only the players, but the parents as well, were able to come together and bond in such a short period of time. I mean, we have a lot of returning players, but we have a lot of new players as well. And it seems like we truly have a family on our young team, bro. The parents back us as coaches. We back the parents as our supporters, and the players are supported by both of us. And the players support each other too. Like there was a time where we were contemplating not playing our championship game at all and just forfeiting it if we didn't play without our brother.
Yeah.
And, for little kids to make a decision like that without being told to make that decision, it speaks volumes. And a lot of them are starting to, play other sports, and majority of them are actually wrestling on the same wrestling team right now. So, it's exciting to see all of our guys out there, competing in other sports, and some of them doing it together, right? We have some over at North Glen with Coach Josh, and then we have some down at North with Coach Zach. And I can't wait to be at the tournaments, and hopefully they could compete against each other, right? What would it be? It would be dope to see Matthias and DJ on the mat, bro, battling it at state for first and second. That would be the proudest moment for me.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying, bro?
For sure.
So, that's a goal to see, and that's what I'm going to root for, and that's the reward, and that's all the things I need, bro. And then to see Art and them boys do what they're doing. Shout out to their quarterback, Dono. If you don't know him, and you better get to know him, because he's a nationally ranked wrestler at his age, and he's a young kid who's wrestling young high school kids and beating them. So, we got some talent over here at the Wolfpack, and we plan to only build on that. So if you're out there and you want to come out for a great organization who's going to put love, support, backing, and fundamentals and knowledge behind your kid and teaching him this game of football and life lessons, come on over to the Wolfpack.
The one thing I'll say,
dancing in your videos.
I was going to say the one thing I'll say about I'm pretty confident I can say this about all levels in the organization, but I know I can say this about our team, and I can say this about you because I know where you're at and where your mind's at, and I haven't seen anything otherwise. But we put football first. We put these kids first.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like it's not you joking around about dancing in your videos and all that, but I see a lot of grown men with pride and online talking about boasting and bragging and downing other teams and whatnot, and whatever. It's nice to talk your stuff every now and again. Like, hey, I give it to you. Talk your crap. We talk our stuff too. But at the same time, there's another thing about getting your pride and emotions in the way of a football game that has nothing to do with you. All you're doing is either coaching it or supporting it. It's these kids that play the game, these kids that have to grow up continuing to play the game. And at this level, shout out to Jacob Cordova over at North, because I saw him post this the other day. At this level, like if you're not trying to get kids to the high school level, ready to play football, ready to ball out and knowing what they're doing, what are you doing coaching at this level? Because this level isn't about it's nice to have all the accolades. It's nice to win, your championships and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But at this level, the main focus isn't being champions or isn't, winning all the games that you can win. You want to do that. That's extra. The whole main focus of this level should be to get these kids ready to play high school football. So they go into high school ball, knowing what they're doing, understanding offense, basic defense, basic special teams, and understanding how to take hits and deliver proper hits and things like that. Like, dude, all the other bullshit, like, it drives me nuts sometimes seeing it.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes we get caught up in some of that competition as teams, because the kids, they love the competition as well. I think a lot of people who are involved in a lot of that unnecessary competition kind of get caught up in it and just get lost in it, because their kids also want to be competitive, right?
Yeah.
But they got to remember that it is about development, and it is about the future of them and making them better people in life. And sometimes you could compete, but if you get lost in competition, that's where you become that cocky, arrogant asshole who gets blinded by your own cockiness, and you get caught up, and we have to develop kids to become better people in life and not really focus on those things. And of course, our goal is to win, but our goal is to win on and off the field. That's why we have awards like the Walter Payton Little Man of the Year Award, where, if for our viewers, if you're not familiar with the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award in the NFL, that award is given to players who, go above and beyond off the field and do for their communities and do for others. And, that's usually given to special individuals within the NFL, and that's what I want to build with our organization.
Yeah.
I want to give that award out to kids through our organization, because that's what means the most to me.
Yeah.
So we're going to do things like that to elevate these kids on a whole other level. So that way, they're not only are they thinking competition on the field, but they're trying to compete in life and be the best people in life.
Yeah, and I think because there's not, like I said, there's nothing wrong with like talking your noise, and as long as there's mutual respect before and after the game, man. Like, I think that's where it gets a little out of hand. Sometimes it just gets a little disrespectful. Maybe it's unintended disrespect. Obviously, the hardest part, like especially with social media, is finding context in words when there's no tone or anything behind them words. So sometimes it can be a little confusing, and it's really more than what it really is. But at the same time, man, it's just have mutual respect for everybody and get out there and show some love and play some ball and teach these kids how to ball up right. But, man, one other shout out as we're on the topic of what's new.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to North High School, Denver North football. Dude, as a Viking alum from 2001, it was great to see the reaction.
Yeah.
All week long online, bro, since North was notified they're making the playoffs. The reaction to see people online, like from all walks, all years, part of a lot of alumni groups, like threads and things like that on Facebook and Instagram and whatever. But it was cool, bro. Like it brought a lot of pride, and shout out to Esco and his staff, David, Frank, Jacob, the whole squad, the guys that we go back with, but also the whole, the whole fucking coaching staff and the whole administration over there. That's big accomplishment for the community, man. It was dope.
Yeah, man, it truly was dope. And that's why, I've been telling people that it's been truly a remarkable year for me, a successful season as a football coach, as a fan, as a parent, as a friend, because I've got to be a part of a lot of great things. And one great thing was this group of kids that are now seniors at North. This was one of my last future teams. This group has been together for a really long time. Shout out to Coach David. You mentioned him before. He's been coaching some of these kids since they were really, really young tykes, kind of like our Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Elijah, the Elijah Bergs, all those kids were with Coach David for a long time. Lorenzo, and then Frankie went over after he was playing with us over at the Montbello Falcons. He went over and played with him, and so did Coach Frank. And then it was Frank, David, and Clayton, and all of them were coaching up those young boys for all those years. And then when they played futures for us, I finally went over and helped them their 8th grade year over at Wheat Ridge. And that's how I got my foot in the door at Wheat Ridge. And they've been together for such a long time, and you can truly see it on the field.
Yeah.
And it's remarkable just to say, I was just a vessel along their journey, and their journey's still going. And it's remarkable to watch that journey, just to say, you know what, at one point I was that Uber that they called to get to their next destination. And now I get to watch them as they go on the rest of their path to success. And it was remarkable, bro. Watching Frankie out there, that's my nephew. Shout out to him. So I've been watching and coaching him for a really long time. So it's no surprise to me when I see this kid make plays that most people think he's not going to make because of his stature.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who doubt him and doubt athletes in general because of their size. But, there is something to say about the fight in the dog and not the size of the dog. That kid is definitely embodies that. So shout out to him. But it's also special to see Lorenzo out there balling and the connection that him and Lorenzo have. And then Berg out there with some of those amazing hits last night.
Yeah, he was not afraid of it, bro.
Him and Scott were bringing the thunder, bro. And, and then you got kids like Eli was playing excellent. Elijah, from D-end perspective, was lights out, bro. And to watch all those kids just come together, and then the newer kids that are coming on board with them, and the team, the whole team in general at North, bro, is just, it's amazing to see that senior class. But not only that, some of the younger kids that we may not have had the opportunity to coach, but we know, and a lot of them are Coach Jacobs' kids, and they're just such a good group, bro. That's a great staff over there, and I'm beyond proud and excited for not only North's future, but what they did this year and the records they made and making the playoffs after all those years, right? Sitting there with Coach Mark, a representation of the last time they've been to the playoffs 40-something years ago, to watching them play with him. It was dope, bro, because I'm sitting there, we're talking about the last time he made the playoffs as a Viking. And we coached with them trying to make the playoffs as a Viking, and we weren't able to do it. There was shout out to Josh and Eric Flores, Josh Duhan were in the crowd.
I saw them and talked to them too.
Former players, and just to see the support of North and all the alum out there. And
it was beautiful. Dude, we had more people there than I think Holy Family had.
Yeah, it was an amazing feeling to be in that crowd, bro. And unfortunately, they didn't get the outcome that we all wanted and hoped for, but. It's all perspective. Success is always in the eye of the beholder and how you value and see success. And for me, as a fan, as a spectator, as a coach, it's been successful, even though we didn't get that championship. And I hope some of the North football team can take some kind of pride in the fact that they did something that 40-something years weren't able to do. That's success, young man, and be proud of yourself for that.
Yeah, man. Shout out to that senior class. We talk about it all the time. Having a special group of seniors and having some of the senior groups that we've got to coach over the years. We've had them on the show, Brandon, Michael, and Elias, and Donovan, and that group. This group has proven to be a very, very, very special group of seniors. Shout out to that whole group. You mentioned a bunch of them, Frankie, Elijah, what about, Jack Gordon, who's just blown up to be a really good football player, man, from where he started to where he's at. He's just turned into a really good athlete. I'll get to see him again in track. Scotty, Miguel Romero, who wasn't gonna play this year, man, and they Scotty and them convinced him to come out.
Great punter.
And yeah, man, he ended up having a really great senior season. So shout out to them. Eli, Achilles, like Carter, Michael Van,
Michael Van, dude, Gabe was out this game, but Gabe, all those kids, bro. There's seniors, so many of them.
Such a special group.
Sorry if we're not mentioning you right now, but we are thinking of you. There's so many of you guys that we've been a part of, and it truly is a special group. And before we even get out of the topic about them, bro, I have to give a special shout out to my bro-in-law and Coach Frank Dardano, bro, because you played with them, and that dude embodies North, bro. Like, he truly loves North, and he has a passion for seeing North succeed, and it meant a lot to him to be able to coach and watch his son play and break records and make the playoffs. And I know it hurt a lot last night because, this very well could be his last coaching season. You know, I don't know if he's going to hang it up. I don't know if what the plans are, but I know he's been coaching for 20 plus years, bro. And you know, to end it with your boy making the playoffs and breaking all kinds of
doing
records,
something that hasn't been done forever.
That's a way to hang up your whistle, if you ask me. But you know, I just got to give a special shout out to him, bro, because it's just truly a blessing to talk football with him and to learn from him and to have the opportunity to not only have him in my family, but coach with him, because it's I've truly learned a lot from him in life and in the game of football. So shout out to you, bro.
Hell yeah. Shout out, Frank. I sent a little text message earlier this week, man, that I'll keep private, but you know, echoing the same things you said, man. Shout out to David and for sticking through. He was on the staff my first year with North. I believe it was his first year too. But you worked together in futures, and we had a great first run at that JV season. My first year, like that was a fun run, and so to see him be able to stick through and watch his boy have a great game on defense yesterday, I thought Elijah played really, really well, and to be able to see that, dude, I know for him that's something that he stuck through it for. You know, to be able to see moments like that. So big shout out to Coach David, Jacob, and you know for like you say, you talked about his little group. And, you know, it brought a lot of pride to me, bro. I was super excited to see North do their thing, man. And we didn't get that result, but to see all the people in the crowd do that was so damn cool. Seeing a bunch of people that I ain't seen for a while, seeing a bunch of people come back from teams that we've coached. And it was just good to see what it did for the community, bro. It was very positive. 2 old Northside schools, you know. I got to tell that story all week long about how, you know, Holy Family used to be in the north side. I remember that they used to practice at Rocky Mountain, and, you know, they got a nice facility. They got a really nice facility.
That's because they also have a pretty nice tuition to get there.
But it was dope.
You know what I got to say, too, before we move on from this topic and from North, it is truly special. From when we coached there, we started to see the change, right, in culture and fan support, and we had crowds like that throughout our duration of coaching there, and it's truly remarkable to see, especially the student body.
Yeah,
the student body comes out and support, and they're rowdy, bro, and it's truly great. But what I challenge everybody at North and future North classes is to continue to build around athletics. Yeah. There's too many kids who walk through the halls of these schools, and not only North, all high schools, that walk through the halls and don't compete in sports. Yeah. Right? It's okay if you're doing other things and sports aren't your thing. I get that. Right? But if you're somebody who's played sports all your life and then you get to high school and you just are afraid, intimidated, or just feel like you don't want to do it no more, you're not doing yourself a service, and you're really missing out on a great experience throughout high school. So you'll make your school better and you'll make yourself better in the long run. Just go out and play for your sports teams. Play football, play baseball, run track, play softball, play basketball, swim, do whatever they have.
Yeah. I think, dude, the importance of extracurriculars for your high school experience it's probably up there amongst the top of things that you should do. I think it just enriches your whole experience, bro. It's just a better overall experience, man. You get to learn so many different things that you don't necessarily learn in real life situations. Like you well, not necessarily learn, but you get to practice so many different things, so many different disciplines. And, you know, you get to work out working with people, working out problems with people. You get to working out problems with yourself and problems with your technique is. You get to work that out and practice that, man. And then you come back to everyday life and have them situations arise where you got to work through something. There's nothing like athletics that help you, you know, learn a lot of that stuff. Yeah. And so, yeah, definitely echo your sentiment. Get out there and participate in something. Like, you don't even have to be competitive. Just participate in something. You know, it's better for you overall, and it's just better for the community, man. Like, you know, idle hands are the devil's playground.
Yeah, and you know, North, you know, making the playoffs, they can still build off this too. They have a lot of seniors. They're losing seniors, but they're also freshmen and sophomore and junior. They have a lot of talent still.
Yeah,
left there.
absolutely.
You know, you still got a lot of kids, bro, that are there and are going to continue to compete for that school. You got young Blake, he's a freshman. Yeah. You got Jaden, who's a sophomore on the starting offensive line, one of the better offensive linemen. You know, you got a lot of young kids there. You got Julian who needs to, get back on the field, but he's still there and he's going to be probably one of the best linemen that they still have. So you can still build around the pieces you have, but you have to bring in some of those other students that are just walking through the halls not playing. You guys have to play to help out your school become better.
Yeah, and stay consistent, Vic, with another year with the offense, plugging away and growing. Yeah,
Jacob, Carmine, all those kids. There's a bunch of kids there still.
There's a chance to continue to grow on that, bro, for sure. But, yeah, man, I thought it was dope. High school playoffs are full go. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sorry. Before we get into that, one more kid we didn't shout out who plays like a stud for his stature as well, David Gavaldon.
Oh, my God.
They continued to mispronounce his name, and I can't move forward without saying his name properly and also giving him his love because, man, he was all over the field on defense, on offense. He laid out for that one catch, bro.
Yeah. Beautiful catch.
I don't think I've ever coached a kid that most people look at and say, oh, this kid's probably not a very good football player, and he's a dog.
Yeah.
He's always in on the tackles, bro. He's always playing, and he has the greatest attitude in life. Like, shout out to you, David. Keep doing your thing, man.
He's a dog on the mat too, bro.
Yeah,
like
he is.
he'll get down on the wrestling mat here coming up soon too. So big shout out to David. It's another parent, his dad that I played ball with. So
special right there too, right?
Yeah.
Like how football just keeps families together.
Keeps them together, bro. And it's one of those things, dude, that again, bro, it teaches you lessons in life, and then we got old war stories about football, and it's like, I can imagine some of the drive homes with Frank and Frankie, sometimes going back and forth about just different things they've seen in the game, their perspective of the game. Frank has seen so many football games and coached so many football games, definitely more so than I've forgotten, or he's forgotten more football games than I can remember, but just his perspective and then his son's perspective, because Frankie sees a lot of stuff out there and from an offensive point of view. So it'd be interesting to see them conversations.
Who do you think would have the wildest stories around the campfire? The David and David Jr. or Frank and Frankie Jr.? They're both, the juniors are telling their stories about when they went through school, and then the seniors are telling their stories. We should have them on the pod one day.
I'm down.
And kind of just do something like that, and let's kind of talk about their experiences through both lenses.
I would say
shout out to Frank and David. Hit us up. We want to have you on one of the next episodes of DNA with the juniors, and we're going to talk about high school and how you guys got through it.
I love you, Frank, but honestly, Frank probably wouldn't let anybody else get a word in the conversation. No, I love Frank, bro. Big shout out.
The story about when Marquez made you guys run and he had to watch. We're gonna hear that one. I'll tell you that one.
We had fucking Frank on that. Son of a fucking.
But yeah, man, you were getting ready to touch base. High school football is in full swing, and we coach a lot of great kids. There's a lot of great kids around the state who we've either coached through DNA or through some other outlet, whether I was in Montbello or they played Futures, or again they got training within DNA. And there was some games last night. Shout out to a lot of great teams, a lot of great games. Some close ones and some stunning ones, honestly.
Yeah, there were some surprises. I was surprised with Legend taking down Valor, although, it's not the Valor of yesteryear. They've still been pretty consistent on their when it gets to the playoffs that they're going to do their thing. And then for me, we were talking about it with Tiff and them last night about Roosevelt, how they've been kind of on this. I don't know if they're getting bored with the regular season or what, but they weren't looking too great going into the playoffs, and then they go and they boat race Riverdale Ridge, who from North League, they're a really good team, solid, getting better on that's talk about a program on the rise, and they go out there and just do them in 55-20.
That kind of reminds me of a question I was thinking of in regards to like NFL teams, right?
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of Super Bowl champions who were like wild card seeds who didn't have regular seasons that were the greatest, right? But got in and then went on runs and won the Super Bowl.
Right.
And some did that consistently, right? The Patriots sometimes didn't have the greatest of seasons, but always would win in the postseason. Like you see Tom in the postseason and he's
a different guy. It's like the Yankees back in the 90s.
The question I had was like, what's more important, to be like what's more of an accomplishment and what's more important, to be an undefeated team like the Dolphins, or to be a team who doesn't do so well in the regular season but consistently wins the Super Bowl?
I think the '07 Patriots would probably tell you to do well and be consistent and win the Super Bowl. I think when they went for that, it took a lot out. There's a lot of expectations and pressure as each win comes closer and closer to being the final win of the season. And they got snuffed in that very last one in the Super Bowl. There's some kids in third world country right now rocking 19-0 Patriot champion shirts. You know what I mean? But I would say getting there, bro. I think I think it depends on where you're at in that run too, though. If you're a team that's never really won your division, never really had much, like let's take the Rockies for instance, right? Say the Rockies were on this run where the division was in a possibility, but their playoff, ticket is almost punched. I'm almost willing to go for the division because it's something you've never done before, and it keeps you playing hot. Whereas, like if you're the Patriots and you've won your division for 15 years straight, and all you need to do is get a ticket. I think them later Patriot teams didn't care so much about getting or how it looked getting there. They just wanted to get there, right? Punch their ticket, because when they get into the dance, we're going dancing for a long time.
So is Roosevelt the new Patriots?
I mean, you see a lot of teams that do that, though.
No, yeah, for sure. Well, because you look at Roosevelt, right, who, like you said, didn't have the greatest regular season, but they kill it when it comes to the postseason. You look at teams like, the upset with Regis and Grandview.
Yeah.
Regis is a team that's consistent, is very good during the regular season, and so is Grandview. So Grandview came.
I was going to say, because Grandview had a tough schedule too.
That is a close, tough game right there. Two good opponents. So I don't know if that's really a big upset, but if the outsider looking in at that doesn't really know that anything about high school football, would think that Regis is just going to steamroll through them. You know what I mean? And it wasn't necessarily the case. It was a great game. It looked like Regis was going to win it. Shout out to Anthony Medina. He's a dog, bro. He's a great football player, and I'm blessed to say that he one season I was able to coach him.
Yeah.
And it's remarkable to see what he's been able to do in his high school career. And I thought, the fourth down where they went for it, from when I was watching it on TV, it looked like it was close. They didn't give him the spot on the fourth down to seal that game, but I wasn't there and I couldn't really truly tell, honestly. So I can't speak towards it. But, Grandview just did what they were supposed to do at the end of the game. It wasn't nothing necessarily that, from what I seen, that Regis did completely horribly wrong. Like, of course, there's going to be things that they're going to go back to the drawing board and they're going to say, if we would have did this or we would have did that, we would have won the game. I just think Grandview got an opportunity at the end, and they sealed it. And they took advantage of it. You know what I mean? If Regis would have sealed it at the very end defensively, that would have, kind of put the nail in the coffin. But Grandview's a good opponent, bro. That quarterback there plays great football. He's hard to stop. He's mobile, and he can throw the ball.
And that was what we were kind of talking about off air earlier, was about like the strength of schedules in these conferences that both these teams are in. They're really good conferences. Mm-hmm. Regis plays a really tough schedule. They've played Creek. They've played, they play the best of the best, Pine Creeks. You know what I mean? And so it's hard to get a gauge sometimes on these early round playoffs. I know Regis had to bye and Grandview had to kind of play through it, but it's hard to get a real good gauge on that sometimes. And we're talking about RPI and how sometimes that doesn't tell the full story, because, I mean, Grandview definitely proved to be very formidable despite what their ranking was and despite what Regis's ranking was. You can almost argue that maybe it should have been flipped the other way, But that's what makes it so interesting, dude. Is just these strength of schedule sometimes don't always reflect as accurate as we like them to, and sometimes they do. Shout out Northfield with that win over Pueblo Central. Yeah. That's a big win for DPS, and so they'll still have a dog in the fight there as East went down to Pine Creek.
And South also lost to Palmer Ridge.
Bro, let me ask you a question.
TJ also lost to Dakota Ridge.
Yeah, is Cherry Creek gonna go win another one, bro? Or do you think like Columbine has a legitimate shot to stop them? I only say Columbine because Columbine's also undefeated, and they're, in my opinion, in 5A, they're the only other team that has a legitimate shot to stop them. Obviously, a team can get hot and do their thing. Legend knocking off Valor, that might be enough to springboard them, right? Austin Valley will have something to say to that. Shout out to Mark. He's up with Ralston Valley now too.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there's not very many folks out there that are going to have a say when it comes down to whether or not Cherry Creek wins another one.
Yeah, dude, you might be right there. I think, Dave Logan has consistently built winning teams, and it's hard to kind of go against that. But Columbine is also a school that produces
They
winning
produce good
programs,
programs,
bro.
yeah,
Since
yeah,
we were young,
yeah.
like
They've got a
let's
great
keep it real.
program.
They have always been a good team, and one thing you can count them in for is they're going to be big up front. They're going to have a good line. They're going to have a good run game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think they definitely can get it going if they have that strong run game and they control the clock. They can definitely win.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Chatfield or Cherry Creek is a tough opponent, bro. So it's just dependent on the day of the week and who wants it more at the end of the day. And then I mentioned Chatfield. Chatfield also upset Arapahoe.
Yeah.
So, Chatfield is a team that, shout out to the D-line coach over there and everything they're doing, because they got a great unit of strong young defensive linemen. And I think that, they could also be a surprising team in 5A that can come out there and give some of these teams a run for their money.
They've had some wins taken away from them for some violations, I think recruiting violations or some shit like that. Some controversial that happened early in the season. So they lost a good chunks of wins that were there at the beginning of their season. So they're a team that won 4A title and said, we're going to move up. Mm-hmm. And they moved up and they haven't stepped back. They're just as good as as they were in 4A, they're in 5A. So they definitely can have a say about it. It's hard pressed for me to find one, man. Regis was one because they've beaten them in the past, but now that Regis is out, I guess Grandview, depending on how hot they get, they might be able to have a little say about that. They play them tough every time they played them, although this year they kind of got blown out by them. The only one, Arapahoe, which I think they got bounced. So, it's tough to say, bro.
They got a good quarterback, Grandview does. I'll tell you that much. They can definitely give them a run for their money. They got a great staff, great team over there. They also have some size, so I can see them definitely competing. Just Cherry Creek is a well-oiled machine, bro. Yep. And it's going to take a well-oiled machine to beat them. And who's going to be the most consistent?
Yep.
That's who's going to beat them. Do the little things right. That's what we told our boys all year, right?
Yep.
And then 4A is also one that you got to say, like, who's going to win 4A?
Oh, that one's being beaten. I want to say no one's beating Palmer Ridge, but I know that's not that isn't. It's a little bit closer in 4A than it is in 5A for sure.
I don't know. You got Erie that still has something to say.
Erie definitely has something to say about that.
Broomfield in that, and then even 3A too is kind of nasty.
How about Broomfield, bro? Just continuing where they left off at. You know what I mean? Yeah. Coaching change and all. Be it, damn it, we're just going to continue to ball out and leave off where we started, man. Shout out to Broomfield on that because they've held it down. You did bring up 3A, and that's where I almost went just by default. But Green Mountain's going to be a tough one to beat. I think we saw what they consider the second team in 3A yesterday in Holy Family, and they looked the part.
They do.
They looked the part.
But yeah,
they also beat Broomfield this year.
Yeah, I think Green Mountain is going to be tough to beat. They're a really good team, bro, and I think shout out to Tiff. We were talking about them scrimmaging not only Green Mountain, but they scrimmaged Palmer Ridge earlier in the year, and he feels like that's kind of what made his team a little bit better because they scrimmaged two of the top teams in the state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And both those teams are very successful right now, had undefeated seasons, and are very dominant so far early in the playoffs. And we'll see what happens when Green Mountain gets that opportunity to be dominant too, So I don't know, bro. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, man. Love it. It's the best time of the year. Did I say the best time of the year?
You did say the best time of the year.
It was on my mind. It's the best time of the year, bro. Sometimes my mouth gets stuck together. Yeah. Pause. No, what do you think about Harbaugh?
Bro,
have you seen any of that stuff?
I have seen a little bit, and then we were kind of talking about it, right? And then I kind of, just started reading into it a little bit more. It's kind of crazy. Like, I think eventually maybe he's going to get what he wants and he'll be back on the field. But how I feel about things, bro, and it's maybe controversial a little bit.
Uh-oh.
And don't think that this is my approach because I just want to line up and beat you regardless.
Okay.
But the way I feel is if there's no clear-cut rule saying you can't do something before you do it, then you shouldn't be held to the same standards as the second person who does it.
Well,
Because then it's a rule, and then you get in trouble. But there probably might be a rule about it. But
I think there is in the NCAA about
maybe they found a loophole.
Well, I think it's like you can't film, like you can't go and scout in person.
Yeah, but is he still a staff member?
See, that's where it gets gray because I don't know what his affiliation completely is.
See that if that's a loophole, then to me that's on the NCAA. And what I like to tell people in my job environment is poor planning on your end isn't a crisis on mine. So if they didn't plan to account for a family member or a cousin who might go to that game and tell Harbaugh what they're doing, then that's your bad, miss.
But let me ask you a question. Wonder if
that's my team.
Okay, so all right, hey Dom, I'm gonna go to these games over here. You want me to film for you? Yeah, man, please do. Let me know what their signs say. All right, cool, but I don't got a ticket. Okay, let me buy you one, and then you start buying my ticket. Wonder what if it's football boosters or someone from the program or administration that's buying the tickets for this guy to go do that?
Hey, what if?
No, but I think that's part of the question, though.
But what if it was posed to them like this? Hey, man, me and little Timmy really want to go to a game. We haven't been to a game in a while in our area. Our local team happens to be this. Do you think you can swing us some tickets? And while we're there, I might be able to film a little bit of the game for you.
But that's the problem. That's against the rules.
Yeah. Well, if
they got coaches film.
Hey, if it is, then I get it. But if it isn't, all I'm saying, if it isn't, is it really a crime if it isn't a crime?
That's the part of the problem is NCAA says you can't go and scout in person. You got to use film. He wasn't
there. And film.
But if this dude is part of the,
That's what I'm saying. I'm just being devil's advocate, guys. I don't condone in this kind of behavior. I'm just being devil's advocate.
If I find some stolen shit, and I'm like, yo, look at this stolen shit I found, Dom. Check it out, and you know that stolen shit. It's not. You know that you can't be watching film that was gathered from somebody who was scouting in person, right? If you don't know, you should know the rules.
But what if he doesn't know how he acquired that? And what if he doesn't know if it's stolen?
Bro, if it's a shaky ass cell phone video.
Let's keep it real though. How many people allegedly in your life have ever brought you some shit and said, hey, you want to buy some stolen shit? Or how many people have brought you some shit and say, hey, I got these things, do you want them? And then you typically ask, where'd they come from? And they might have say, oh, they might have fell off the back of somebody's truck or something. So then you have to make that decision, but you're the one who asked where it comes from.
So are we assuming that Harbaugh didn't say, where did this come from?
I'm just saying,
are we assuming that he said, where'd this come from?
No, I'm not assuming.
I didn't hear that. I don't know where it came from.
I'm not assuming anything.
But let me get this film.
All I'm saying is that I personally, Dominic, Coach Dom, I don't know if Harbaugh had anything to do with it. So let
me ask you a question then.
Is it really cheating if he didn't know?
Let me ask you a question.
Shame on you, bro.
If it's dozens of times where this has happened, does it change?
I think what he should think about is maybe he should go to the NFL.
You go to a lot of games, dude, that we play. Hey. It's all opponents they play. It's all like Big Ten opponents and shit, bro. So come on, man. If it's happening multiple times, that ain't a little fishy about that right there.
If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it must be a duck. You're absolutely correct. And
speaking of ducks,
if he did do that, then he did it. But all I can say is I don't know. So wow. It's alleged.
They suspended the dumbest ass suspension is they're suspending him. He can't be on a game at the games on game day, but he can still coach a team during the week.
Yeah.
So is that really a suspension?
Yes and no. And then let me tell you this. So what happens if he has a conversation with one of his coaches during halftime? Is that a violation?
Well, yeah. Like, what's the rule say about is it no contact with the team?
Can he text them an adjustment because he's watching the game?
Y'all are weak on the backside.
I only think about like major leagues, right?
Yeah.
where the coach is in the hospital and he's like going
Yeah,
crazy.
I love this French shit.
Yeah.
He's all listening to the game
in his ear.
Yeah.
That's what I think of, right? Like if Harbaugh's sitting at home,
There's ways.
watching the game, Penn State's beating him up.
There's
and he's
ways.
like, do this because they're playing Penn State.
There's ways. Maybe one of their staffers has a hearing aid.
Yeah.
You know,
if it was Ohio State, if they're playing Ohio State, it's the Michigan and Ohio State rivalry. Do you think he finds a way to give him some secret messages?
Oh,
do you think he has another person who used to work for him go to the game and
absolutely
and text him?
Absolutely, bro. They're going to find a way because Michigan has a chance to play for a national title this year. They're a really good team, and they're going to figure it out, bro.
Harbaugh, if you start sending messages through your brother and having your brother give them adjustments or your wife, then they're going to get you, bro. Be careful. Just all I'm saying is maybe you should just
NCAA going to come to Michigan. Like, how come Pizza Hut was texting you during the game?
Yeah, how come they're telling you to switch to a cover?
Yo, I wanted to ask you a question, bro.
What's up?
Since we're on the subject of football.
Okay.
What in the F happened with your boy Joshy Poo up in Las Vegas, dog?
Bro, this is the thing, right? I think, shout out to Josh McDaniels.
Shout out to Josh McDaniels.
First and foremost, I ain't going to be one of those fans who's just going to completely bash the dude, especially when I spent some time backing the dude, right? I ain't going to be a flip-flop floozy is what I would like to call it. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to him. I think he's still a great football mind, but he's not a leader of men.
No.
And I think he lost his job because he lost the locker room. And it's in disarray, bro. Like, we went from being a team that I felt like was a closed fist to now 5 fingers spread apart. And it's all because it's all because of his leadership.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where I think he failed. And that's why I think it was critical for them to get rid of him, especially when he's defending the Patriots in the locker room.
I was just going to ask you about that. Do you think there's validity to that story?
Fuck yes. Like,
so you know the whole story, right?
If you're already losing the locker room and one of your coaches is getting up to give motivation to your players about how he played on a team that came back and beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl and how they were able to rally behind each other and win, and then you tell them not to use that story as an example in front of your team, that's a problem.
So you think that really happened then about him telling him not to use that story? Or not to talk about the Patriots that way?
I do. I do feel like that's what he did. I mean, come on, let's keep it real. Like, the NFL is just a big gang. And so he belonged to that set for all them years. He ain't gonna let nobody just start talking about his set like that, bro. It's like,
hey, McDaniels straight up, bro. He's protecting his future job opportunities by backing the Patriots. Hey, he'll be back there.
Hey, shout out. I know if history repeats itself, it's not great for interim coaches, right? Interim coaches the majority of them don't really stick through and become successful head coaches at that team that they were interims at. Like, they might land a job somewhere else and become successful later on, but the time that they take over interim, a lot of them don't continue just to be head coach and stay with that one organization.
I
hope Coach AP does.
I thought he thought he brought a lot of passion, and I thought they played for him this last week.
You know what I love, bro? Did you hear what he did with the practice squad?
What?
He had the whole practice squad on our sideline during the game.
Oh, nice.
And when asked about it, it's because he wanted to make sure that everybody didn't get comfortable in their job. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I like to hear, bro. Push them. Just because you're an NFL athlete don't mean that you don't need to be pushed, bro. Every day could be your last day, and get out there and freaking work. You know, so shout out to that, bro. If he could continue to bring that energy, I'm excited. Good luck for McDaniels and Ziegler and whatever they got going in the future. Like, whatever. But
good riddance.
I'll stand on. I think Josh McDaniels does have a great football IQ.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's a good head coach. And 2 times shows that. The third team, you'll be a fool. It's on you at this point, right? Shame me once, shame on me.
Yeah.
Fool me twice, shame on you. You know what I mean? You know how that saying goes.
Yeah, I got you. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah, however it goes.
Well, I think freaking Where I thought would be his third opportunity would be New England whenever Bill Belichick retired, because I honestly thought
gets fired.
he would leave. Well, I honestly thought he would leave like Vegas for that job, right? That would be the only job I could see him leaving Vegas for, just because he's got history there. Now I think that's in question, if you ever being a possibility. I don't know if he'll ever get another head coaching job.
Let me ask you this hypothetical that I got right now in my head brewing. Bill Belichick gets let go. Kraft lets him go at the end of the season because they're horrible. Mm-hmm. Mark Davis doesn't sign AP. He signs Bill Belichick to be the head coach next year. And Bill Belichick brings in Josh McDaniels as his offense coordinator.
That would be some Mark Davis shit, because he's already paying $89 million to two coaches not to coach.
That would be so fucking stupid, but I feel like
to
keep it real, as a Raider fan, that's some shit we might do, bro. Fuck.
Hey, before we go on, I want to make sure to give a big shout out to Inkless Laser Tattoo Removal, brand new to the metro area. Inkless is changing the game in tattoo removal. New technologies and ideas allow Inkless to provide amazingly affordable opportunities to folks waiting to move on from past tattoo mistakes. Make sure you check out their flat fee pricing. They got a lot of dope stuff going on. Hit up their website, inklesstattooremoval.com. Check them out. Book a little session. We still got a couple of gift cards we're giving out. Hit us up with your tattoo nightmare, and we'll get you hooked up. It's inklesstattooremoval.com or at 445 Union Boulevard, Suite 200 in Lakewood, Colorado. Hit their website to schedule an appointment or call 720-594-8585. Big shout out to Inkless and what they're doing over there.
Man,
you like that?
Shout out to them. And it's that time of the year also when football is coming to the end.
Just getting good. What are you talking about coming to the end? Don't say
it is. I mean, it's coming to the end for high school. Like, it's the playoffs, and it's like mid to late season in the NFL. It's about to get time, bro. And when that happens, the NBA gets rolling. And we're starting to get rolling in the NBA right now.
We are.
What are you thinking about what the Nuggets have going on right now?
Dude, I'm excited to see how they've started the season. Mm-hmm. They've been dominant. I think Jokic has let motherfuckers know. Excuse my French.
He has.
He's put them on notice.
MVP notice.
Though, I'm excited, bro. I'm excited for where it's going. I'm not excited about losing Jamal.
Yeah.
That one sucked.
I mean, the timing of it kind of is probably the best case scenario, though, right now, right? Because it's early still in an NBA season. It's kind of long. Like, yes, we got this in-season tourney that's going to be cracking off, but for the longevity of the whole year, it's still kind of early, bro. And we're going to lose him, what they said, 4
through
weeks?
November.
Yeah, so for a month, 3 to 4 weeks, he's out. But that's better than him being out for the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely.
That's when we need him. We need Jamal playoff Murray, bubble Murray, just Jamal fucking Murray.
Well, and even though I'm upset that he's out, like I'm disappointed that he's out. That doesn't mean that I'm not bullish on the Nuggets still doing their thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I think it's been proven with Jamal. What I'm encouraged by is Michael Porter Jr. Stepping up, playing a little bit more defense, grabbing a little bit more rebounds, being more active to the basket. Like, that's really got my attention.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, and then also I feel like Reggie Jackson stepped up.
Yep, Reggie Jackson's playing better.
He's starting for them, or for Murray in his place, and he did well, and he got a lot of contributions from our young guys.
Yep.
And Julian Strother and Colin Gillespie. I always butcher his name, Gillespie. I always want to put the P before the S.
Gillespie.
Gillespie. But those young dudes have also been adding a little bit of support with Reggie Jackson to fill that void of Murray being out. And as long as we can have that, because that was one of my biggest concerns is our bench as good as it was last year?
Yeah.
But so far, so good.
Well, and Reggie,
we're off to a really good pace.
And Reggie, man, he's had a full off season, a full training camp with the team. Coming in, I think it can be hard finding your place coming in mid-season. You know what I mean? To a team and trying to find, especially a team that was well established like the Nuggets, where I think Brucey B had his role kind of locked down in what he was doing. So it's kind of hard to find your place in a team like that, right? Mm-hmm. But I think now that he's had a couple of chances to really get down to the brass caps thing and learn the offense and learn what his role is going to be, he's definitely shined a little bit more, and I'm excited to see that. They're good, man. I think we're headed on the right path, dude. We just gotta stay consistent and stay healthy.
Yeah, and speaking of the path, I think we're on the road right now, right? We're getting ready to go play Houston. In Houston, Houston's a decent team, right? They're 5-3. We're 8-1 right now, so we will see how it goes. And then after that is the start of what I briefly mentioned. You briefly mentioned earlier, is the start of the in-season tournament.
Well, I don't want to be a dickhead and correct you, but they started last week. For us, yeah, we played.
Oh yeah, we were on the court.
Yeah, you were talking about that dope ass court, but it's the start for this next set of games.
Versus the Clippers
on Tuesday, and then obviously the Pelicans on Friday. What do you think about this in-season tournament, bro? Like,
I honestly got to read a little bit more up on it. I haven't been too involved with it, but I get it. It makes a little bit more competition in the middle of a long season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's cool in a sense. I just worry about the risk of injury, but it's really still the same games, the same amount of games. That was my one question for you earlier, and you answered that for me.
Yeah, it's the same amount of games. It's just 30 teams compete, 8 teams advance, one is crowned champion. All teams split into 6 groups during play in November. 8 teams advance a single elimination knockout in December, culminating with semifinals championship at a neutral site, which is Las Vegas.
So let me ask you something.
What's up?
Is there any way that a team can win the in-season tournament but not make the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely. Because all they're doing is have you seen like on the World Cup?
Yeah.
Where they have like different groups of teams they play and then they play into a bracket form? That's all they're doing here. So say a team's hot early this year and then they're not hot at the end of the year. That's absolutely possible. You know what I mean? You can get someone.
This ends when?
This in December. December 9th is the championship.
Oh yeah.
So it's very possible. Yeah, it's like a first half of the season kind of championship.
So that's kind of crazy, right? To have a in-season champion who didn't even make the playoffs. Like, does that take away from the validity of the championship at that point?
No, I don't think so. What I think this is a grab. I think this is a grab to try to get
viewers,
international viewers.
Yeah.
And maybe non-conventional basketball viewers, because it's like, hey, it's like, oh, what? There's a championship, there's a trophy.
Well, and let's keep it real. Like, to think that some of these leagues don't have their money and some of the gambling that they suspend for.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is
it's another gambling opportunity.
You know what I mean? And it's going to be another gambling opportunity for money to be brought into the NBA, even though they suspend players for participating in things like that.
I think it's, I see what they're trying to do. You also got to keep teams engaged, because, you get to the point where a team knows they're not going to be good and they start tanking in November. Like, that's no good for anybody either, So I think it's just trying to find ways to keep people engaged. Let's be real about it. All these leagues make their money off of advertisement on network, right? Mm-hmm. And getting their money from network TV. So this is another way to build viewership, to get more people tuning in. You mentioned off air, and we'll talk about it now, the courts.
Yeah.
All the different style of courts. They're pretty dope. There's some different ones. There's some ones that hurt my eyes a little bit, but they're all unique.
Yeah.
And you get people seeing that, like, what is this new court about? What's this? And you just start getting more interest and more viewers to go. I can see why they're doing it, man. It's definitely a different way to do it. Basketball, baseball, maybe hockey, you can do things like that in. You can't do it like a football.
Yeah. I mean, definitely not. I mean, there's not enough games to do something like that, really.
Yeah.
Honestly. And it be a deserving award, you know what I mean? Like, or even an award that anybody would like to hang their hat on. You know what I mean? This at least has a little bit of duration to it.
Bro, I don't mean to get off topic here, but it had me thinking of something. Do you think there'll ever be a time where we don't have football anymore? Like, where it's not dominating like mainstream society and it's not getting the numbers that it does? Because like the football games that are like the least watched still are outviewed or outview other sports like basketball, hockey, like the amount of viewership they get. So I just, it's so dominant, bro, but it's also a very rough contact sport.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Like, I think football's in danger because of the demographic of society right now. Right? I think a lot of people shy their kids away from playing football, and after seeing some of the participation and the buy-in of the importance of football at a young age,
Yeah.
growing into high school, and how many kids even drop off at that point, right? So many kids who start at a young age, majority of them don't even play in high school.
Yeah.
Very few play in college, and one in a great chance play professionally. So I think because of the declining numbers at the youth level,
Yeah.
it is going to eventually impact the NFL in viewership, because that young level is who becomes our fans later in life, right? That's why we're fans, because we played the game, we understand the game, and we love it.
Yep.
So there's no way that you and I will ever stop watching football. But a person who maybe didn't grow up loving the game might choose to go do something else or watch something else in place of football.
Yeah.
So I think there is some validity to we could be in trouble, but it's the greatest game on earth. So I hope not.
Well, since we're on football, let's go ahead and flip into this next segment.
Ooh.
We want to do some picks. We had a little fun with this last time we got together. I think we got a lot well received. I want to do it again. My question is, do you want to pick them straight up, or do you want to pick them against the spread?
It's up to you.
I'm asking you. You're Domstradamus.
I really don't care. I usually just go for straight ups, but
Let's go straight ups
we
then.
can go spread.
Let's go straight ups then. Let's go straight ups. And we'll start with the first one. You got this list up here. You good with this list?
Do you want me to go first, or you on first?
Well, I'll introduce the game and I'll let you go first, and then I'll go after. How about that?
Okay.
That work?
Yes, sir.
Dude, I feel like we should have some NFL music behind us.
I know.
Like some NFL films type music. I don't have nothing on here with that, bro. But first game that we can go to is Indianapolis at New England. This game's being played in Frankfurt, Germany.
Far traveled
So
game.
it's not a home game for New England.
It's not a home
Technically
game
speaking,
for
it
New
is,
England.
but
I think Indianapolis is going to win that game.
pick Indy on that one too, bro. Not very much to say other than New England's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, they're pretty bad, bro. So I would definitely do them. Should I introduce this next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, this next game, we got Houston traveling to Cincinnati. Early game.
I take Cincinnati. Cincinnati's on a roll, bro. They're fucking butter right now.
They are, bro. But I'm gonna go opposite of this one. I'm gonna go with the guys traveling. I'm gonna go with Houston.
Shout out C.J. Stroud with his big day.
C.J. Stroud
Dude.
is doing, bro. He's a Buckeye. He's doing his things, as many of you know. Like, of course, I'm a Colorado boy and I love the Colorado schools, but I grew up loving Ohio State because of all the stickers on the helmets, and I was a big Eddie George fan. And,
Yep.
I just love the Buckeyes, bro. So to see C.J. Stroud doing his thing, go Buckeyes.
New Orleans at Minnesota, another early game. Who do you got?
Ooh, there's another dumpster fire in Minnesota going on, but
Josh Dobbs did his thing last week.
Dobbs did his thing, and my boy Justin is questionable. I don't think he's going to play, but he is questionable if you're looking at your lineup. So we will see, but I will go ahead and go with the home team.
I'm going to take the home team also, man. I feel like they can do enough to get it done. They've been playing really well on defense again over the last few weeks. I think Minnesota takes that.
While I got the Pack going up against the Gold and Black, and Green Bay going to Pittsburgh for an early game. Who do you got there?
Give me Pittsburgh, bro. I think them boys play defense, and as long as Kenny Pickett don't screw it up, I think they're gonna take that one too.
Yeah, they are a good team. I do definitely think they'll take care of this one at home.
All right. Tennessee at Tampa Bay, 11 o'clock start. Will Levitt's coming through with that freaking flair.
Yeah.
Who you got?
I have Baker and Tampa Bay winning that one.
I do too, man. Let's go Baker. I think Tampa Bay is just gonna be too good at home. I like what Will Levis is doing, but where the hell's Derrick Henry been?
I don't know, bro. It's kind of what happens with running backs, though. It's hard to
They just disappear.
It's kind of hard to continuously do that, bro, especially when you're a bigger body. So we also have a great game coming up with this next one. We got the Niners traveling down to Duval to play the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Niners going to be on 3 straight losses coming into this game. It's going to be 4 straight, dog. I think Jacksonville's going to take them out. Son.
Hey, Trevor Lawrence, bro, has had a but somewhat of a really good year that a lot of people kind of may not have given him credit for because he looks like a Hanson brother. But I think I'm going to go with the 49ers in this. I just don't think they're going to lose another one. I think they're going to fix it, and they're going to go into Jacksonville and win this game.
Okay. Wow, Division North rival going at it. This is going to be a black and blue game.
This is probably my pick for game of the week.
Really already, huh?
Oh,
Cleveland at Baltimore, 11 a.m. on Fox. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with B-More, but I think Cleveland is definitely an opponent that can go in and beat Baltimore. In Baltimore, they've been there before. When you have a division rival, I mean, sometimes one can say that's like your second home. You're there so much that Cleveland might be able to just go in there and do what they got to do, but I'm going with B-More.
I agree with you that you can't sleep on a division rivalry. However, there's tiers to this thing, and I don't think Cleveland is quite on that same tier as Baltimore. I think Lamar Jackson has got it all clicking right now. They're finding something with the run game. I'm going to have to go B-More on that one, man. I don't think Cleveland can do enough to stick with that offense, bro, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think they win by at least 10.
Yeah, no, that might happen. And then this next one.
Battle of the Birds.
You got the Birds going down. You got the Atlanta Falcons traveling to Arizona. And is Murray back?
I haven't seen anything that said he's going to be, but I know it's up in the air possibly.
I did see this video of him working out with the quick ladder, and he was about 8 years old and 3 foot tall.
You're so stupid. Nah, he's supposed to be getting there. Like I don't know if they're gonna bring him back, bro. But there's a lot of money tied to him, and if he gets hurt, that money gets even more tied to them. But I know that he's back with the team in terms of they taking him off IR. I think they have to decide in like the next week or two whether or not he's going to play. Otherwise, he's done for the rest of the year. So I would imagine, what do you got to lose? You got to see what you have in him.
Yeah, who you take?
I'm going to go with Atlanta. I just think I honestly think Arizona don't give a shit about winning this year.
Yeah, I just haven't seen much from Arizona either. Even though Bebop in Atlanta isn't really,
they need to figure out how to use Bijan Robinson, bro.
Yeah, they do got to figure that out a little bit.
It took a hurt in fantasy a couple weeks ago with his no touches.
Yeah,
that shit pissed me off.
I think they will figure out how to use him this week against Arizona and get a win, a convincing win.
All right. Detroit at Los Angeles Chargers. Detroit's hot. Los Angeles is hot. Who you got?
Wow. I would love to take Detroit in this one just because the Chargers are a, division foe. But I'm going to have to go with the Chargers at home.
Yo, Chargers are going to charge you. I'm going to take Detroit with this one on the road. Nice. I think they're going to do their thing. I think the Chargers are going to find a way to get in their way. And you might be seeing Staley out the door in Los Angeles very, very soon. I'm taking Detroit.
Hey, man, I would hope so. Not for him to lose the job, but for them to lose the game.
Oh.
I don't want to wish that on anybody. But, hey, New York, the Giants going over to Dallas, man. And the Giants have been another as you can say, dumpster fire a little bit. And I don't know what's going on over there. I got Dallas winning this one convincingly.
Jones is out for the rest of the season now.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor's he did ACL.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor's, with a rib cartilage injury, he's out. I don't know who they got playing at quarterback. They might have to go try to get Eli out of retirement off that couch on Monday nights.
And Micah.
Yeah. So I'm with Dallas also, bro. I think Dallas is going to win this one, and it's not going to be close. But here again, it's another one of them division games, division rivalries, and you know how those things work, man. Sometimes they're a little bit closer than we think they're going to be. But having seen what Dallas did to New York in that first game of the season,
with their starting
unit, their whole squad, right? I don't see any way New York wins that game.
Yeah, it's just I think there's too much stacked against them in this one, unfortunately, and Dallas is going to win that pretty convincingly. Another division rival of those two teams. We got the Washington Commanders going up against the Seattle Seahawks.
Washington's got to go all the way to the West Coast. I think that West Coast trip is a little bit easier than the East Coast trip.
Agreed.
But I do believe that Seattle is a good team. They play ball the right way. And Pete Carroll always got that team ready to go. So I'm going to take Seattle at home on this one. I think Sam Howell's going to get in the way of Washington having any kind of success.
Man, I picked him up the other week, and he had a good week, and then he didn't have a good week. And now I have him and Gino, and I'm debating on which one should I play this week against each other. And I also am going to go with Seattle. I think Seattle gets it and figures it out against, a decent Commander team.
All right, boy. I got the Jets going to your boys over in Vegas. Antonio Pierce has them boys 1-0 since McDaniel's got fired. Who do you got in this one? I think I know where you're going, but who you got?
Well, I think I'm going to have to surprise everybody and pick the Jets in this one. Psych. No. Got him. Of course, I'm going with the Raiders, and not just biased pick. I just think we're a better team than the Jets right now. I think if Aaron Rodgers was still with the Jets, I would have probably a difference of opinion right now. But I am still on the fence, and I want to see if Coach AP could actually do it 2 weeks in a row. Can those boys play for you like they did last week? We'll see. I hope so, but I'm sticking with my team.
All right, and the last pick.
Did you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm taking the Raiders.
Okay, don't try to skip over us.
Taking the Raiders. No, I'm going to go with the Raiders for the second one at home. I don't think New York's consistent enough. Although their defense is really good, I think the Raiders find a way. I think these boys are playing for Antonio Pierce, and I think you're going to see actually more of the talent that the Raiders have shine through than what they didn't have. So I think McDaniels was the cancer, bro, to be honest with you. So I can't see that.
Yeah, no, I definitely can't see that. And then the last game is this mine to you first or you to me first?
Go ahead.
Is a surprising one. Monday Night Football, you have Denver traveling to the East Coast to go play Buffalo.
Yep. I think Buffalo's going to be Buffalo, and I think Josh Allen's going to come out and he's going to be hard to contain. And I'm going to take Buffalo in this one. And, I don't know that it's going to be close.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not going to be close, I don't think. If it was in Denver, maybe it'll be a little bit different of an outcome. But I think going all the way to play in the East Coast on a Monday night game, it takes a little bit of an adjustment. And I feel like they're going to definitely have to turn some things around in order to win that game, and it's just going to be a little bit too much for them to handle, and I got Buffalo taking that one pretty easily.
There it is. There's our picks for the week. NFL Sunday tomorrow. This will be out obviously before then, but yeah, that's fun, man. That's fun. We should have kept track so I can tell you who's going to be better than the other person, but maybe we'll do that next time.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely want to, before we get out of here, we had some breaking news just popped through my timeline, and I definitely have to say something because this is a former Raider and former NFL player tragically lost his life early Saturday morning. DJ Hayden was killed in a traffic collision in Houston Saturday morning. He was 33 years old. He last played in 2021 with the Commanders. He was a great player for us, bro. He had some injuries with us. I don't know if you remember. He had that real almost career-ending injury where he came back from, and he had surgery and then came back, and he played decent, and then he left with us and had a few stints in a few places, and then just kind of ended up, retiring. But it's never good to see anybody lose their life, especially, somebody who's
not prayers to his family, man. It's very unfortunate. Life is finite, and we never know when it's going to be our time. So definitely prayers to his family and those those surrounding him that have a lot of love for him. So very unfortunate to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hate to leave it on that note.
Yeah, I know. My bad.
But it's about that time we hop up out of there to the session. Big shout out to you, bro. It's good seeing you. Good doing this again. I know we see each other all the time, but it's fun to see each other like this. Shout out to Inkless Laser, Icon Sales, and Boxing, Anytime Flood Restoration, Zach G, and the Play Harder podcast. What up?
Yeah.
Rebel Promotions, Black Sevens, Janice's Catering, Lash All Beauty, Cutthroat Barbers and Anglers, the Canyon Fly Shop, the Colorado Wolfpack Youth Football Organization.
Yeah.
As always, DNASportsDenver.com, DNA Sports Training. If you guys need a session, you want to start getting that off-season work in early, hit up DNASportsDenver.com. Let's get it popping. Let's get it booked. For my partner, Don.
Hey, we're out, man. It's been a pleasure. We love your support always. Make sure to click, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube and share it with somebody you know. Tell somebody to tell somebody. We out.
That's it, man. We out here. Peace.